All right, let's localize the top news in the NFL today. Talk about what it means around here. Let's also hear from Nick Cacerio. Nick Cacerio said something really weird, and that's kind of where I want to start. We've been talking about this Joe Mixon thing and how the Texans are going to handle the situation. And a lot of the talk, a lot of the mention has been about Mixon's availability, which at this point we know he's not going to be there 4 weeks, and we know there for at least 4 weeks. I emphasize the word at least. They're going to be using a running back committee. So they will be using a running back committee. And we know the 4 guys that are going to be involved in it: Nick Chubb, Dameon Pierce, Woody Marks, and Dare Gumbawale. Jonathan Alexander asked Nick Cacerio about the running back situation and making it work without Joe Mixon, and listen to the names that he brought up to talk about feeling like they can get the job done with the committee.
Feel the players that are on the team right now can help us, otherwise it wouldn't be here. So, whoever's got to play, we're going to probably need everybody at some point. So the players that are on the team, we're going to need them. The players on our practice squad, we're going to need. So whoever's in the building, the expectation is that you're going to prepare each week and get ready to play, and that you can help our team. There's multiple examples of that. D'Angelo Ross, there's another player, practice squad, has helped us in a kicking game, made an impact. Kadar Holman over the course of his career. There's multiple players that have been off a roster on a practice squad who we've activated for games, and they have gone out there. Tommy, we just talked about him. Like, nobody was talking about Tommy Togiai last year at this point either. And he's gone out there in playoff games and actually helped us win. So whoever's here, the expectation is we're going to get their stuff ready to play. If there's a better option out there for us, we'll consider it. If there's not, then we won't.
All right. So you're talking about a running back committee, and you mentioned maybe the worst corner that we've watched in a long time in D'Angelo Ross. And you mentioned Kadar Holman. If you want to feel good about the running back situation in this committee, I thought that was one of the weirder things. It reminded me of Bill O'Brien, when Bill O'Brien used to justify some of his really bad big moves, like the Hopkins trade. And he would mention like practice squad guys like Buddy Howell or Keon Crossan or something like that. Like it really did remind me of that. But that's a crazy, crazy, crazy mention when you talk about the running back committee. I don't think anyone that follows the Texans hears the name D'Angelo Ross and feels overly comfortable about it. I think he could have just broken down the guys that are there, like the Nick Chubbs. He does have a track record. He does have a history. Dare Gumbawale has won you some games. Woody Marks is here, and maybe you like Dameon. Maybe you think Damien's healthy. But the hyping of the practice squad when asked about the running back committee, I thought it was an interesting thing from Nick Cacerio. Speaking of that, I wonder if the Joe Mixon absence could, in a strange way, make the Texans better long term. And obviously, with Joe Mixon, you're a better team. You have more confidence that you have a better chance to run the ball. I'm not going to say you're going to run the ball, but you have a better chance to run the ball with Joe Mixon on the team. And the running back depth gets better with Joe Mixon because you push out someone that you probably don't want to put on the field, and then you have that committee. But I do wonder if in the long term this could make the Texans a better squad. And I'm talking about the early test for Nick Caley on one hand. I think this is kind of some early adversity. Now, you can make a case that it's not early adversity because he might have known from the jump that he wasn't going to have Mixon. So it's really just something he's been preparing for a long time. But I don't think when he came to the Texans, I don't remember the exact time frame of when the foot injury rumors started popping, but I don't think he anticipated that the ghost of Nick Chubb was going to be his starting running back his first game when he goes to his former destination in Los Angeles. So in a crazy way, in a strange way, in an ass backwards kind of way, this might actually help Nick Caley have to maybe get a little bit more creative when it comes to calling plays, because we saw it last year with Bobby Slowick. A lot of times it was just hand it to Joe Mixon, cross your fingers, hope something happens. And then whenever Joe Mixon's not there, you really don't adjust. You still try to run the ball when it's not necessarily effective. So I think this will be a good early test for Nick Caley. And as we've learned with Bobby Slowick, it's not how you start. It's kind of how you adjust. And I think maybe this will get the brain flowing for Nick Caley. It's definitely better to have Joe Mixon, but in the long term, once they get the back that they trust to run the ball and maybe have the largest chunk of pie when it comes to the usage, maybe this will just make Nick Caley better. And it'll have him more prepared. And also, I think one of the things that the Texans haven't done a good job of, even when they've had a good running back, and we're not going back to the Kubiak years because Kubiak did a fine job of this, but they really haven't maximized. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. You hear me say this every draft. They really haven't maximized or attempted, whether it's through personnel or whether it's through play calling, they really haven't maximized having multiple running backs that can make plays in games. And I think that is something that you need even when you have a really, really good running back. You need multiple backs. A lot of times they have different skill sets. You have the scat back. We always hear about thunder, lightning. You have the guy who can catch the ball in the backfield. You have the guy that you trust on short yardage. You have the guy that you trust to run the ball the majority of the time. And then sometimes you kind of mix it up. I thought that was the best thing about the Patriots, outside of the obvious displays of greatness, was the way that they did that. So with this type of committee, I think that element and what the Patriots were able to do when they did have all those committees, I think Nick Caley immediately hits the ground running to where he kind of has that mindset and he'll have that approach. So I wonder if, like, in the long term, there might be some early struggles, but maybe this kind of helps Nick Caley in the long term when it comes to play calling and how he's going to handle the situation. It's kind of like where you start off in a tough situation and all of a sudden everything's easier for you. I mean, I don't know. You're playing your older brother or something like that, and you have to find ways to be crafty. You have to find ways to be creative. And the offensive line too. You're going to have to find ways to work around this offensive line because this is a flawed, very limited offensive line despite the honeymoon phase. So maybe in the long term, this makes Nick Caley a better play caller. Nick. Now, some of you may be saying, well, Nick Caley is going to have to do something. The offense is going to have to do something because you still got to win games. You got to face the Rams. You got to face Tampa Bay. Those are two very, very tough teams to run on. And he's got to do something. I agree. But I also think this Mixon absence might also force the Texans, even more so than they were already going to do. It might force the Texans to kind of lean on their superpower, AKA the defense. And we know Demeco Ryans is a defensive-minded coach. He's done an excellent job on that side of the ball. I don't think you could ask for a better job in every level. Maybe this forces them to kind of lean on their defense a little bit more, which I don't think is the worst thing, which is something I think they're going to have to do even when they're not facing adversity as far as Mixon or injuries or anything like that. They're going to lean on the defense. So I think Demeco Ryans and the defense, if they know heading into a game, hey, we really got to step it up. We got to make it easier on the offense. I think that's how they're going to approach every game. But maybe without Mixon, that increases even more, and you lean on your superpower even more. And Demeco Ryans kind of pressures himself and gets the most out of the defense because we've seen him do it a number of times. And one of the things that I think is exciting about Demeco Ryans, and I know that Demeco Ryans is probably really excited about this as well, is the linebacker depth that he has to work with. And there's a lot of athleticism at linebacker. And I asked Demeco Ryans about it. This is what he had to say about potentially being able to play comfortably with three linebackers instead of, when Petrie's not on the field, still playing nickel. Here's what Demeco had to say about that.
Fair to say along the lines of the depth that the depth at the linebacker position and the athleticism has you perhaps more comfortable this year having 3 linebackers on the field when Petrie's not out there than last year?
Our linebackers are very athletic guys. Our playmakers is really I'm really encouraged with getting Christian back in the fold, getting EJ Speed, like 2 very athletic, fast linebackers, and I feel like they can take our defense to the next level, right? So feel really good about those guys when it comes to different packages and stuff. It just gives me more flexibility. Like if we want to play base, nickel, whatever we want to do, having guys who can run and be athletic, make plays in space, it really opens up the playbook for me.
It does. And it's kind of a crazy thing to think about that the Texans now have an extremely athletic linebacking core. You still have the 2 guys that held it down for you last year, but now you have a freakishly athletic linebacking group. When it comes to Christian Harris, when it comes to EJ Speed, Jamal Hill's played his way into things. Like the athleticism at linebacker is crazy. And that's where you go. Like we talk about improvement, and offensive minded is the way that the NFL is right now. We're always thinking about offense. The rules are set up for the offense. The fantasy football exists. We're always talking about the quarterback. There's been a lot of focus on the offensive line, rightfully so. And we talk about like how much can this offense improve? Can the offensive line go from really bad to all right? Can CJ Stroud take the next step towards being elite? We talk about that. But with this football team, with the way that this football team is set up, what if really good turns into elite? And you get to lean on that defense a little bit more. I don't think it's the most far-fetched thing when you look at the improvements that they've made. There's just a number of things that have happened to where that's a realistic scenario. You have young guys that are naturally going to get better. I don't think we've seen the best of Will Anderson. I don't think we've seen the best of Kamari Lassiter. I don't think we've seen the best of Kalen Bullock. I don't think we've seen the best of Derek Stingley even. We haven't seen the best of Christian Harris. There's the arrows pointing up there just by improvement within guys that you already have on the defense. Then you talk about the depth at linebacker, which we just mentioned, the really improved depth at D end, which is already strong, and you have the best edge duo in the league. You've heard me say that a few times. The D-line depth, I don't think it's a long-term fix, but in the short term, it's set up pretty good. If you have C.J. Gardner-Johnson and an improved Kalen Bullock, I mean, that pretty good situation there. Jalen Petrie in perhaps less of a regular role, but still in a role that he's very good at. You have that, so you got to feel good about that. So all the focus on the offense and Joe Mixon and everything like that, I think it's appropriate. But I think when it comes to this team being good, I think that, or holding it down, I think going from really good to elite on defense is the more realistic thing. I think that's the more realistic thing. And let's make sure, how long is Mixon going to be out again?
My expectation is for Joe, we're taking it one day at a time, and when he's ready to be back, he'll be back.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Coach. Thank you very much. Let's go to the super chat real quick here on by the way, we got some football up. I got the YouTube TV pop, and we got football today, tomorrow, next day. It's football season. We're a week away from the NFL season. We'll localize the big news when it comes to the Cows and what it's got to do with the Texans in a second.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
HD AV Traveler, evening Landry and friends. Wow, is all I can say about the non-Texans NFL news. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, it was drama. We've dealt with drama around here. It was a trade. We've dealt with trades around here. There was a contract negotiated before by David Mulligetta. We've dealt with that. And we've dealt with trades in which you receive a couple first-round picks, 3 to be exact. So we've dealt with that. So, yeah, it was a lot of drama, kind of increases with the Cowboys. But I do think it's significant for perhaps the biggest offseason in the history, not in the history, one of the biggest off seasons in the history of the Demeco Ryans era. And I think we'll be saying that even as long as he is the coach, which is upcoming, and how that was impacted by this trade, or at least got the creative juices flowing. But I'm with you on that. HDAV. I like when HDAV throws a take in there. I think HDAV should just throw, from now on, he should just, like, when he super chats, he should just throw in like random takes. Like, hot dogs suck. I prefer hamburgers or something like, just something crazy. I prefer stick deodorant over spray deodorant, something like just a random HDAV traveler to get it popping. Not telling you how to do your thing though, HD. Shout out to Austin Jack. Wag says, evening, brother and fans. If Woody shines and Mixon doesn't play, is he out next year? Potentially Arian Foster-ish. I also think that this might have sped up the possibility of unleashing Woody. Pause. Pee Wee Herman style. Unleashing Woody. I think the possibility of that might increase. I don't know whether that's a great thing. I don't know whether that's an awesome thing. I'm not gassing up Woody Marks to say, man, they got to give this guy the ball this many times. I'm not saying that. But he has shown some stuff. He looks more explosive than Nick Chubb. He's a better receiver than any running back that they have. He looks like an effing wide receiver when he catches the ball. He looks a lot better running the tackles than perhaps we previously had thought that was going to look. And now, when you don't have Joe Mixon, now you're basically with Woody Marks. You got to use him. Like, he's really the only guy with the big upside that's versatile. So maybe this kind of, and we talk about them being better long term. And I know some people think it's crazy, like Nick Caley having to get more creative, Demeco Ryans leaning on the defense, Woody Marks getting to see what he's got to do, got to get creative. It might, I'm not sitting here saying it's a blessing in disguise, but crazier things have happened than that. And I think there's sometimes a possibility where a guy like a Woody Marks, if he is really good, he gets buried with a Joe Mixon there. Now we get to see something. What if we get to a point where it's like, man, I like the way that Woody Marks is doing his thing, and I don't want touches to get taken away from him. That's a hell of a situation to be in. That was not going to happen with Joe Mixon. So maybe that's another thing. I don't know why I'm so optimistic right now. It must be the strand of the
high-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets.
But I kind of like it. I'm kind of enjoying it. Nice little off day. Never hurt anybody, at least from the Texans' perspective, not on the streams and everything like that. So I'm enjoying this. Preston says, perfect situation. This season will be for the defense to get the turnovers, set offense up with short field, and they cash in with points. I'm with you. Lean on the defense. Lean on the defense. That's the whole style. It was going to be anyways, but now it's not it's not optional. You have to do it. You have to lean on the defense. And I just wonder if that's going to be like some sort of rally. Like I do know that the way that Will Anderson thinks, it's going to be like, man, I got to step it up. There's no Joe. We got to step it up. So we'll see what goes on with Woody Marks. I think that there's a chance that in the long term this makes them better. There might be struggles, but this is going to be a good test to see what Nick Caley's about. Good old Nick. Nick. And we're going to see what's up with the defense. Demeco Ryans and the defense. Let's get on that. All right, so the thing that Demeco Ryans and Nick Cacerio, and be sure to like the video. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to most importantly subscribe to SNL. Not most importantly, but that's one of my pride and joys is the SNL at 4:00 as well as this. It's my baby as well. Been doing it for a while. But the biggest situation that's going to happen, and one of the biggest challenges that the Texans are going to have to face as an organization is, and it's kind of like the bad side of one of the most exciting days in franchise history, that in the same offseason, it's cool to get, the best quarterback and perhaps the best defensive player in a draft 10 minutes within each other. But the bad part about it is eventually their contract situations line up and you might have to pay them at the same time. And the Will Anderson and CJ Stroud paydays are inevitable. We don't know what the exact numbers are going to be, but it's inevitable that Will Anderson is going to be top 5 edge guy, and CJ Stroud's going to get paid top 5 quarterback. It's kind of the cost of doing business. And that's going to eliminate some of the financial flexibility that the Texans have. And quite frankly, I know Nick Cacerio says, draft picks are 50-50. I don't disagree with that. It would maybe be nice to get up to like 65, 70% for like a couple years while you're paying a guy as the highest, one of the higher paid edge guys in the league and one of the higher paid quarterbacks. And that's next year. And with today's news, the Micah Parsons stuff, there's kind of some localized impact on the Texans. Now, this was going to be the case anyways, but you kind of have a target for what Will Anderson's agent's going to talk about. And if Will Anderson comes out and has a massive year, let's say Will Anderson's an all-pro, which is not the craziest thing to think about. I know there's some really good edge guys, but it's not the craziest thing to think about. He's already a Pro Bowl guy. But if he has a really good year, then it's the Micah Parsons contract is going to be kind of where you look at. It's not going to be a starting point, but it's going to be where you look at. So that's one element of this when it comes to Micah Parsons. Like when Will Anderson, if he's thinking about bread, money, when he sees that Micah Parsons got that deal, it's a good thing for him. It's a really good thing for him. And on the other side, the guy that went 10 minutes before him in the draft, the other face of the franchise, CJ Stroud, when he sees that his agent negotiated the deal and got the job done, and he says, okay. Because that's just kind of how David Mulligetta does business. He gets the job done. So it's cool right now to have a lot of young talent, but eventually it's going to get expensive around here. And here's the other part about it. You're already paying Derek Stingley. You're definitely going to pay these guys, but then you're going to get to a position where there's really good players on this team, and you're going to have to say goodbye. They already did that with Laramie Tunsil. You already see kind of the start of it, because they already did that with Laramie Tunsil. They said bye to him, but it's only going to increase. The Cowboys paid Dak Prescott. They paid CeeDee Lamb, and then like Micah Parsons, there was a little bit more to it. It's a different position. It's not quarterback, but they had to make some tough decisions. And that was the decision they made. So things are going to get different for the Texans today. Not like not like anything shocking, but it is kind of a reminder of what's heading the Texans' way. Down 45, I guess you could say. I got some news to share on the back end of this. Those of you that consume Texans content, good Texans content. Sometimes I get tagged and it's like, yeah, this guy at SNL, Landry Locker, this guy. I'm like, man, why are you putting me in that company? I'm not trying to be a jerk, but man, that's it's a little. I mean, you don't have to throw me in that group. That's a little bit crazy. But I digress. Let's go to Z Super Chat.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
H-Town and down. He says, if each back has a role, are we then predictable? No, not at all. Now, you probably don't want to become predictable where you're not disguising, you're not mixing stuff up. But I mean, the committee example I always use is like the New England example where you knew James White was their receiving running back, one of the best that we've seen do it in clutch situations. You knew Sony Michel and Rex Burkhead were kind of their thumpers, but they did different things. But no, I mean, as far as a role, like Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery had roles, but you got to mix it up. You can't just become predictable. Like, when this guy comes in, you're passing, et cetera. So no, I don't think it's too big of a deal if each back has a role. But I do get what you're saying. You don't want to tip your hand all the time. But no, there's no shame. There's no shame in the committee at all. We're getting some heat on this Nebraska-Cincinnati game. Got a ball game, folks. Turn it to the ESPN if you want to check that out. We're watching the dual screen. We're watching Wisconsin, Miami, and we're watching Miami University, not the U. And we're watching Nebraska and Cincinnati, and that one's getting a little bit chippy. Rod on the soup says, I actually think we're at that committee situation. DP is the big play. Woody is the receiving back, and Chubb is the short yards back. I don't think Dameon Pierce is a big play back. I think we saw a couple runs last year that were just kind of, one of them was mop-up duty, and one of them was just kind of a little bit surprising. But I don't think he's the big play guy. I think Woody Marks is the big play guy and the receiving back. And I think Pierce or Chubb could be the short yardage. Thrill says, why is it so quiet about Jaden Higgins? I don't know what you mean about that. You mean like, why aren't people talking about him? Like in camp? Xavier Hutchinson had a good camp. I wouldn't be worried about Jaden Higgins at all. That would be, he could come along a little bit slow. It's not the craziest thing. He's capable of making plays in the NFL. Wouldn't be shocked at that. Preston says, where are we watching games this season, if not live at the stadium? So we actually have something set up in that area on SNL. A local establishment I'm a very big fan of. I think they have the most underrated wings in the game. I think they have the local business feel that I very much respect, and I've admired what they've done as a local business in this community. They got really good pizza too. Really good pizza, good drinks. So it's almost done, but we're gonna be partnering with them, so we'll have a place to watch for sure. Some road games, and we'll have some appearances. So be on the lookout for that. We got you covered. I'm very excited about this, but we just got that down. We'll make it official. It's gonna be nice. It'll be real nice. Guarantee that it'll be good. It's indoors. I know that HDAV Traveler was like, man, it was hot last time when y'all were at Carbach. It was. I love this place very much. I love the original, and I like the new one. I like the new one. Wing buffet, no. I don't. Where do you even get a wing buffet? It's not Kirby Ice House. It's not that. Kirby Ice House by my spot is nice. Don't even know what the wing buffet is. Yeah, I don't know what you would be worried about with Jaden Higgins. Why? Jaden Higgins. Nah, Jacob, I'm talking about like it's a list of like random people. I was kind of being a jackass. Nah, but belong at the top. I was kind of being a jackass, but not really. I mean, some of these people, it's just like, oh, I don't know the squad. Let's look at this practice squad. Is there anything that sticks out on this practice squad? And you all better come through when we get out there. Rest assured, I'm rested assured, sir. We're good. Damon Arnett, I said this on SNL. Damon Arnett needs to send D'Angelo Ross some gifts. Because his performance and getting burned again, he got Damon Arnett on a squad. Got him a check. Miles Bryant, I don't know how much they really want to use Miles Bryant. I think the cornerback thing is misleading. I think it's a safety. He's more of a safety at this point. Jawar Jordan, I wonder if there's a alternate universe where Jawar Jordan carries the football in actual games. The wide receivers, I can't believe Jared Wayne's still here. That's crazy. I know there's some people still mad at Jared Wayne. They can't quit him though. And then Stutz says that he thinks Harrison Bryant gets activated week 1. I think they might lean Jakob Johnson. But who knows? HDAV on the soup says, great to have. I don't know what that says. But they should be indoors. Just saying, oh, dang, you said it as I was typing it. Yeah, it's indoors, man. It's indoors. We got you, man. Yes, Birdman did make the practice squad.
What happened to that boy?
Good for him, too. He had a good camp. It's just a very, 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 very crowded DN room. But I don't have any like extreme practice squad takes. I think everything they wanted to happen pretty much happened. So good for them. Very much good. Good for them. Someone says Jakob Johnson did an interview and said he was promised to be moved up to the practice squad. Okay. I mean, that was obvious. Like they weren't going to just let him go. So I would assume that. I don't know. Where'd you see the interview? Was it is Aaron Wilson on that red carpet at that Texans thing? I just assume Aaron is going to be, yeah, he is. Oh, Lord. This is the event like for, let me peep what Aaron's talking. I'm going to pull it up on his timeline. This is Aaron Wilson. Follow him. Y'all know A-Dub. Nico hates him. I like it too much. Let's see what he's talking about. He's at this red carpet. Let's see what he's got. Okay, so he's got Will Anderson and Tim Settle on the red carpet. I'm sure Tim's got jokes.
You got some stuff that you got to really look at to understand. You clean too? Hey, I ain't dog. I'm about this heat though. You got some stuff that you got to really.
Okay. We got that. Still Settle. Oh, Randy. Good old Randy. Shout out to Randy and Cacerio there. Demeco, I'm sure that's generic. Titus, Stingley. Oh, here we go. Here's the gender. Let's get to Aaron Wilson interview. Henry To'o at the Texans kickoff.
Goes toward helping girls flag football. Don't know how much flag football you've watched or seen, but what do you think about that cause to kind of give that a boost?
I think it's beautiful, man. Just being able to have the sport, and I mean, we talked about it with the McNairs at a team meeting, like how much football has done for us, and the opportunity that girls have and flag football has to be able to reach them and and the opportunity that it brings is huge. So for us to be able to share that and be a part of it has been huge for us.
To share the excitement of this season with a ton of your fans tonight, man.
Yeah.
What do you want them to kind of take away from the vibe you guys are giving off after a long but productive training?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like kind of just provide the positive energy and what we're feeding off on this field. Man, we're super excited about this season, so we want them to feel that, and I think they will tonight.
How cool is it that you have so many people here to support you guys, and just to be in the same room?
No, it's huge to being able to have our supporters in here. We don't take it for granted at all. So we plan on having a good time with them tonight. Go out, have fun, and eat some good food.
All right, there you go. Texans kickoff. Aaron's all over that. At Aaron Wilson _NFL. And he has a channel as well. Throws a lot on there. It's a lot. The tweets too. If you're gonna get like 7 deep snapper transactions, but then you'll get the Texan stuff too. Kind of happens. On the suit, Preston. He's feeling it. He's relaxing. Says Nick knows a loophole to keep players, because I see a few on practice squad that can be starters and contribute. Yeah, there's like some unwritten rule, I think, with practice squad where a lot of the times these guys just don't typically get picked up. So that's kind of that. But yeah, they're deep. They got a good practice squad. Practice squad might have been able to beat the 2021 team, maybe 2022. Who knows? So the big news, SNL, Locker Room, Stutes, Houston football, all under the Houston football window. We're going to add another piece of content for you, and it's going to be a collaboration that I'm very much looking forward to. It's going to be once or twice a week. This was proposed to us a long time ago, me and Cody, and we really just didn't. We didn't want to do it unless we were doing it with the right guys, and we want guys who maybe you don't hear from as much on this type of platform, and guys that know the squad. I don't need a wiki elite like a former player. I don't need that. There's plenty of that. There's social media. Like it's good. I'm open to it, but it's not really what we crave. We want guys who know the squad and are going to provide the audience with something else. And we also want to work with people that we trust that can like kind of expand things. And the agency that we're with has put together something, and we have a collaboration with two other people. Big voices, big voices in the market. Big voices in the market. I'll give you a hint. One of them I have worked with before. And I would say he is a very, very well-known voice in the market, friend of mine. The other one, maybe I kept the seat warm, and it's kind of going to be like a full circle thing. Do with it what you want, but we got it. It's going to be on probably Mondays, because Reaction Monday on SNL is in the morning. We got a meeting about this tomorrow, but it is going to be another collab. No, it's not Seth and Cecil. Love them though, but not Seth and Cecil. Not them. But it'll be a new collab. It'll be a new piece of content. It'll take place during the season. It'll likely be bi-weekly, and I'm looking forward to it. It is the perfect group. We weren't just going to say yes to this just to say yes to this. So we got you, and it's going to be fun. And we also got some people that are joining us, some really, really respected brands in the market that are going to be joining us in the Houston football community, and we're very excited about that. We're going to have places to watch games. We're going to have some good stuff to sell. Been working on this, creeping up on 3 years on this channel, even like the final 2 at 610. SNL's been less than a year, and it's just the best daily. I think Texans, I'm biased, but I think it's the best daily Texans thing. And we got that covered. And we're going to add another thing, and it's only getting bigger. Digital game, present media. I have a special place in my heart for the legacy stuff, but you knew this is the direction it's heading. It's only getting bigger. And I appreciate y'all for riding along. Be sure to subscribe, pretty please. Be sure to like, pretty please. Texans are off tomorrow. We are not. SNL live at 4. Locker room at 10:30. We got you covered. And yes, it's on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. YouTube's the best. You already know that. It's not John Lopez. John Lopez didn't know the squad. John's fine. John doesn't know the team. Come on. Don't be crazy. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. Subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, I'm just kidding. Kinda. We're all in it together. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Ayy. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not 2. Plugged in daily digital.